Hey y'all, hope you've been having a good holiday and good holiday season, I guess, since Thanksgiving, and things are going well. I I've been putting the IAC, a metaphysical player's guide to reality. I have been putting it to the test, and it is fascinating. It is truly a fascinating experience. Again, if you don't recall, the IAC was created out of frustration that I've been deeply exploring the truth of reality since as early as I can remember, like 4 years old. And yet, a few months ago, I was still struggling with whether or not I could accept other concepts that were coming at me. I mean, every day we have new ideas being presented to us, but for years now, I've been kind of studying the soul trap theory with David Icke and other prominent figures. And I was still struggling whether or not I could accept this into my reality, into my belief system. And it bothered me. And the thing that bothered me the most was not the idea of soul trap. The thing that bothered me was that it shouldn't be this difficult to decide. I mean, my God, I've been shown so much in this life. I'm at a certain age now, and I've been exploring things for so long, and I've had truth about reality. Unlike so many people that have listened to this channel and followed it, they've had that same truth unlock, where I call it Axioms 7, fluid reality. But most people out there have not had the awareness and truth unlocked about reality in Axiom 7. It is truly an upgrade. But once you have experienced the unlocked truth that reality is fluid, once you understand that, you start to see very clearly that you cannot just tell another player in your existence this is the nature of reality, because they cannot accept it. They will not. Their internal belief loadout just will firewall that idea completely. They will not accept it. So it's something that you have to deal with yourself, and it's taken 9 years for me to grapple with the fact that reality is fluid and what I'm supposed to do with it. And what I mean is, this is a powerful piece of information, and you're meant to do something with it. You're not meant to just know it and that's it and just be, okay, well, I know it now, I'm going to go to bed. It's a powerful unlock. It's a game changer to your existence in this reality. So, my God, use it. Take advantage of this tremendous unlock that you've achieved. So, I'm thankful for the soul trap, folks, because the challenge, what it was, you could call it discomfort in my belief loadout, the discomfort that soul trap was causing, because I just felt in my core something felt wrong. Couldn't put my finger on it. And that's the thing that bothered me, is consciously I couldn't put my finger or explain to anybody why it didn't feel right. It's that whole resonance thing. I mean, there's truth to resonance. There's truth to something feeling right, but it's really something that you have to it's there for you to pull it out into full definition. It's not there for you to just say this feels right, so it must be the truth, because I can give examples all day of things that people have said felt right, but that didn't necessarily mean the truth. What it meant was their belief loadout that they were living by lined up with something so well that it felt right. And what I found was my belief loadout system, what I was running my player avatar on, did not line up. It just was not finding a lineup or a match to the soul trap, even though I tried. I really challenged myself and tried. But because it wasn't there, the next step was to articulate very well why there was no alignment and what that meant. So something resonating with somebody is not a testament of objective truth. That's axiom number 4 in the IAC player manual. Objective truth exists regardless of the player's belief loadout. So something feeling right may still violate objective truth, but something feeling right has to line up with your belief loadout. So the belief load, just because I say there's objective truth and reality operates on a certain physics engine, that your belief loadout, if it runs against it too hard, is going to find conflict. If you want to test this idea, you could try to test like what we know as an objective truth is maybe the laws of gravity. And if you want to challenge gravity, you're probably going to find out real quick that there's an objective truth behind it. And even though you can try and deny that it exists, you're going to find out it does. That's probably the simplest example of objective truths. The game physics engine is going to still operate per the game physics engine. Now, axiom number 7 unlocks the most wildest, craziest thing that I never thought possible. But the fact of the matter is, it exists. It's true. And some of you know this. So axiom 7 seems and feels like, when you first see it, as a violation of the physics engine of the game. However, it's actually just a violation of what most people's belief loadout happens to be about the physics engine of the game. They just haven't unlocked the truth of the game that they're in. So Tom Campbell's LCS, I haven't read his books, but I've seen him talk years ago. I mean, ever since I started exploring the nature of reality and all this stuff 9 years ago, he certainly is an author that, and a spokesperson on YouTube that I've listened to a few times. But him, as well as everybody else, kind of gets mixed up in the wash and the flood of information. But somebody pointed out to me that my IAC seems very similar to the LCS model that Tom's presented, and I have to agree that it's not the same. What I'm saying in the IAC is not the same as Tom's. However, they complement each other perfectly. The alignment is very strong between Tom's LCS, which stands for Larger Consciousness System, and the IAC, which I've drafted about 100 pages now, stands for the Integrated Actionable Constructivism. And it's meant to be a player's manual for a hypothetical game called Soul Forger. And that is this game that we find ourselves in as players in this reality that we see. We have the ability to recognize certain truths. Every player is spawned into this reality engine, which is a game of limitations and other attributes. And we have an amnesia of who we are and the power that we possess. So over here, this would be us. Either we're that little guy standing with a backpack, or we're the robot. Choose which one you prefer. But their perception is separateness. In this reality that we spawn into, when you press the start button for this game, you spawn into an amnesia state condition of limitation, and you feel like you're alone. You feel like you're separate from everything. You feel disconnected. And it's an unsettling feeling for sure, but it's the greatest challenge test and soul forging opportunity anyone could ask for. So the truth of our reality is this other side that shows that we, in reality, we have this army of resources behind us, and we have these toolkits, and we have these very powerful things in our software development kits. Software development kits basically take ideas that come to you, the I and the dia, that powerful, mysterious, goddess-like spark of energy that combines with your I consciousness, and it creates ideas, And we have the ability to take our software developing kit and turn them into belief loadouts as we choose. And the power behind that has a direct impact on the reality we are living. Not just the perception of the reality we are, but the actual transformation of the reality we live in. That's truly the thing that everyone who understands axiom number 7, everyone who's been given the gift of being able to unlock by whatever means possible, you've unlocked fluid reality axiom. You understand how transformable retroactively this reality can be. This IAC manual fits that perfectly, and it's telling you that your software development kit of your ideas into your beliefs loadouts is not just an illusion of perception of your reality. It actually is transforming and creating your experiences. So you're working, but the difference is the IAC is saying that you're still having to operate within the game's physics engine. There's certain rules that are going to apply. You're learning how to navigate the game. You're not learning how to rewrite the game itself. You're learning how to maximize and optimize your player avatar playthrough. You're learning how to get the most out of the game. You're no longer just a noob trying to bounce around the game, making all kinds of new mistakes that you would make if you were playing it for the first time. So now you can have fun little challenges. You can take that skill, that difficulty slider, and you can up it a little bit and really challenge yourself and see how you face various situations. But you can also realize that your own belief loadout creates disharmony and frustration in your reality because you simply are coming at it the wrong way, and you're getting yourself defeated by the very first boss you face. That is the power of Axiom 7 and understanding reality is fluid, is understanding the next logical step is to realize that you are having a tremendous impact on your very own playthrough. It makes all the difference in the world. As I've been testing the IAC, so I've got roughly 100 pages. A lot of time is spent discussing the first 6 axioms, which are the core rule set. Everything goes back to the first 6. If a new idea is challenged or up against the IAC to challenge it, it has to pass the cohesion principle, which means it has to fit perfectly with the other 6. Actually, scratch that. I said 6. I've kind of reduced it to 5 axioms now. So axioms 5 and 6 were vertical communications and horizontal communications. The vertical communications you might consider your communications with God. The horizontal is your communications with other players. I've just combined that into the 5th axiom. I forgot that I did this recently, but you could do it either way. You could say 6 axioms, or you could say 5 and 6 just stand for communications, and then explain in that axiom that there are vertical and horizontal communications. And then the 7th axiom, unlocking fluid reality, becomes axiom number 6. I guess axiom number 7 can be just like the Bible. That's the day of rest. At axiom 7, you can just rest. But the first 6 axioms are the work. You go through the work, you understand reality, you line it up. The first test that every idea has to pass is simple cohesion to that first rule set that's created. If it doesn't fit together cohesively, if the idea doesn't fit like a tight jigsaw puzzle, you just can't continue. It's got to go through this test. So that's where the manual is going to spend a good bit of time right up. But then the second layer of the manual is called Observables, and observable truths. And that would be things that I've experienced and just recognized as generally true, and ideas that have made a lot of sense, like the mirror principle, which actually ties into the axioms too, but any idea that's in the observables section, which is quite long, has to go back and it has to pass cohesively. It has to pass the cohesive test with the IAC's beginning axioms. If it doesn't match up with the first 5, it just doesn't fit. So it's not that it's true or false at that point. It's actually a sliding scale of alignment. How much does this idea align with the axioms, the first axioms? In order for an idea to make it into my observables layer, it has to match up with all 5 axioms very cohesively, very tight, or it just doesn't make the book. It doesn't make the player's manual. Have I written it? No, it's all in rough draft. I'll probably write it and publish it. It's not a copy of what Tom Campbell has written with the larger consciousness system. So with Tom, he is very academic and scholarly, right? But it's all metaphysics as well. He is writing a view that you would consider as a top-down view. So you look at basically the larger consciousness, the thing that people refer to as your greater self, your oversoul, or your source or God, because you can see it as your creator, the thing that created your avatar. The player who spawned into this reality, you recognize that there's a source greater than yourself. And you have some vertical communications with that source. So that's what Tom is calling out as a larger consciousness unit. All things are made of consciousness. He really aligns well with axiom number 1, which is the core beginning of the IAC. Tom is writing a very academic, scholarly view. It's a top-down view. So from the larger soul's perspective, you, the player, would be an avatar, almost like slipping into a game that you have like a VR set, and I think he makes that analogy to a virtual reality system with goggles and everything, and your body kind of operates like the same principles as a VR headset, and your body is used to experience this reality game. I call it a game in the IAC. It's used to experience this reality so that your larger soul can get these experiences. And so he says the larger soul's purpose is to reduce entropy, which we see as a rule. And that fits too, because reality is going to reflect back to us larger truths. So what we see as principles, like the laws of thermodynamics, we see these as principles in the physical reality gaming engine. They would be reflecting back to us a larger truth so you would say there is a list of thermodynamics that exist in the metaphysical spiritual realm. And he says that it's that entropy in the spiritual realm, that entropy that the large consciousness in its playthrough is experiencing as in its reality play. That is the problem that needs to be corrected. You need to reduce that entropy, and you reduce that by aligning yourself with the principles of love. Now, with the IAC, which is individual or integrated, actionable constructivism, the objective is targeted at being constructive, a positive, constructive playthrough. And that does not conflict with the principle or the observable of balance in the system. The system has balance. Balance is part of it. It aligns with it. But the observables recommend the duality, the dual truths of reality, and the fluctuations, the rhythm, the cycles of life. It recognizes that as part of the physics engine, but not as a conflict to being positive